Hi, teammates all around the world. This is Sean McCaw. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Let's Talk live on YouTube. I have a great guest right here, and I'm not even going to go into a big intro. Thank you for coming on, my guy. I appreciate you taking time out of your day and coming from pretty much straight from practice to get here on time. I appreciate that. Can you do me a favor? Introduce yourself real quick, and then we're going to get right into it.
Yeah, my name is Breein Tyree. I'm from New Jersey. Currently playing in Bosnia for Eagle Kea. Yeah, ready to answer whatever questions you have for me.
All right. So for a quick icebreaker, you got nominated for this show by Wade Baldwin. How much did he pay you to twist your arm into coming on?
There was no payment, but he just got on the phone with me and just pretty much said he gave me a shout out on the his interview, and then he was just like, "Listen, get on, for my word," and I was like, I got you, Wade. So that's how it
Good,
happened.
good. Um, let's walk back a little bit. Like, what is your first basketball memory like that made you fall in love with the game?
That's a great question. Actually, I was a late bloomer with basketball. I was always like in different sports growing up. So my earliest memory probably was around like 12 with like you know, actual basketball on the team. I was on a team called Pure Basketball with a coach named Bruce Hicks. And I just remember he used to scream at me, scream at me, scream at me. But he used to get the best out of me, and actually, that's when I really found a love for basketball. When I found out I was going to be, pretty decent at it, and then
Mhm.
from there, I kept playing other sports. But once I got to high school, I pretty much focused in on basketball.
Okay. So I know you're from Jersey, and I got a quick question for you. Did you ever hang out at Belmar Beach?
Of course, of
Yeah.
course, of
Okay.
course.
I,
My
I
dad
know
used to bring me.
somebody. I know somebody from there. And he told me that Belmar ain't always been the cleanest beach. Is that true?
Wait, who told you that? Because I'm laughing so hard because me and my brother was really my cousin. We have like this like joke that we said one day. We were on the beach and we were like standing there watching the water, and then we were like, oh, this looks so nice. And then something like pulled up. It was like a jellyfish or something. He looked at me like, Belmar ain't always been the cleanest beach. We just started laughing. So for you to say that is funny. Yeah. So
No. Shout out to Dallas.
yeah, Dallas. Yeah, that's
He
my
gave me
brother.
he
Yeah,
gave me
yeah,
the
that's who
information.
told me.
I always hit up somebody that my guest knows to give
Okay.
him some kind of curveball, and that's the story he gave me. So shout out to Dallas. He's watching. He's watching. So shout out to
Shout out
Dallas for
Dow.
that
Shout out Dow. That's
one.
funny.
Okay. So we're gonna go back to college. So you declared for the NBA draft after your junior year of college, and then decided to go back. How was that whole process for you, and why did you ultimately decide to go back to school?
Well, if I could really be honest with you,
Hmm?
there was actually a thing that happened with me. My sophomore year didn't have such a good year with my
Uh,
coach getting fired middle of the year, and then the assistant coach became the head coach, and then he kind of gave me the keys for the last 10 games at SEC. And that's when
mhm.
I really started, hitting the ground running. And then I spent all summer, that summer, working on my game 3, 4 times a day, having the idea of, listen, I want to go into the draft after I have a good year. I had a teammate that had did it the year before. So I was like, Ole Miss should know the process and all this, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And at the time, there was eligibility stuff with signing agents and stuff like that. If you sign an agent,
You're
you could
out.
not be eligible, to play it unless you did it in a certain way. So everything I knew was through compliance and through the school. So
Mhm.
I went on to have a really good year, first team All SEC, did everything, correct. And then, it was time for me to go into the draft, put my name into the draft. So I went into the draft and I got some feedback back. It said like mid to second, late second round, my junior year, which was good feedback for me.
Mhm.
Because I could in the workouts work my way up maybe. And
Mhm.
the list comes out of all the guys, for going into the draft for all the workouts, and my name's not on the list. And I'm calling my coach and I'm like, yo, coach, what's going on? And he's like, Well, he speechless. So then he gets this meeting with the AD, compliance, my head coach, and the lady in compliance. You know, definitely me and this lady did not see eye to eye after this, but she told me that she just thought I wanted feedback and that I didn't actually
Uh-huh.
want to the draft.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
But I mean, whether it was them kind of trying to keep me at Ole Miss, or whatever the case may be,
Mhm.
I was taken that opportunity was taken away from me for whatever
Mhm.
reason, and
Mhm.
we spoke to the NBA, and the NBA pretty much said for liability reasons, if he's not on this initial list, we don't want to get sued if he gets hurt, knock on wood, whatever.
Mhm. Right.
Different stuff happens. So they said, our hands are tied. There's nothing we can do. So
Mhm.
I was heartbroken. I put a lot of work in that year to be able to make a resume for myself to be able to do that. And I really think I did that. And yeah, so it was a tough thing. It was going into my senior year. So my coach was like, listen, we're going to do everything we can to, get you in front of some scouts. So I was invited to the CP3 camp that summer, and so yeah, that's what happened my junior year.
Okay, so now I understand your following steps later. So you play your season, your senior season, you have a good year, and then you come out, but you don't get drafted. You go G League route, you do all of that stuff. You spend a little bit of time, where were you, in Dominican Republic?
Well, I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to cut you off, but my
Right.
last year was the COVID year. So my last game was
Oh,
literally the last game of the year. We played Georgia in the SEC tournament, and that was literally after the game they said no, no
okay,
more basketball. So my pre-draft, which is normally only 3 to 4 months, my pre-draft was 9 to 10 months because of COVID.
okay.
So I actually didn't get any workouts my senior year. I didn't. There was no summer league. There was no.
Right,
There
right.
was no NBA combine. There was no G League combine. There was no Portsmouth. There was nothing. So, after I did all that work junior year, senior year, I was really taking a lot of the opportunities away again because of COVID. And
Right.
yeah, so, definitely stripped of those opportunities. Really, the only opportunity that I had with organizations was something like this, like a Zoom call where I'd be on with the GM and the coach, and
Mhm.
they would ask me questions of, where I think I should fall in the draft amongst my peers and stuff like that. But I probably talked to like 11 teams, but didn't get any workouts or anything like that. And then, like you said, I went into the G League. I got picked up, didn't get drafted, but I got picked up by
Mhm.
Miami on Exhibit 10.
Mhm.
Went down there, but it was still COVID every day. We were going in there getting, swabbed in our nose. Couldn't get any extra work. Had to be in there for only team time. Couldn't really do my own stuff to show, my work ethic and who I really am. So another, hurdle that I had to kind of go through. But then, they ended up waiving me.
Mhm.
And then I got picked up by Toronto on the same deal that same year. Went to the G League bubble, and then I got hurt. I hurt my tore my ACL. So it was a tough time. I was actually my agent at the time, Happy Walters, was telling me, the Bucks were going to sign me to a two-way, this, that, and another. A bunch of teams were, giving you interest, and then boom, got hurt. So
Damn, man,
definitely,
you got some.
yeah,
I don't
bad
want
luck.
to say you got some, you had some badass
Had some
luck,
bad luck. Had some
but
bad luck.
something was up.
But yeah, definitely some hurdles in my career that I had
Right.
to jump over, and just really didn't get a fair shake at the whole NBA thing. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting hurt, like I said, playing in the G League, and 6 months later, I started for the Raptors again. Didn't miss the first game. I didn't miss a game,
Mhm.
and I had better numbers, better everything. I mean, both years we were like the best team in the G League. So after this year, COVID's done, everything's done. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my opportunity to go play summer league. And that's when I went to DR instead of just staying home and being around my friends or whatever.
Right.
I was like, listen, I'm gonna go play, make some money,
Mhm.
stay in shape. And I had a great time in DR. Definitely playing like I was green light, everything. That's when I kind of got back to myself with
Right.
basketball. And then yeah, I just didn't get a call for summer league. I mean, didn't no one called me. I mean, I'm not to toot my own horn, but with the resume that I had built, I mean, and nobody gave me a call.
Mhm.
But the guy, injuries and this, that, and another, you kind of
Mhm.
gotta be realistic. So I, spoke to my agent, which was a different agent at the time, or he's still my agent now, John Noonan. And I was like, listen, I'm done with the G League and all that. I want to go to Europe.
Mhm.
So that's when I made the transition to come over here.
I mean, of course, we all have that NBA dream, right? Like we don't go practice, in the early mornings, late nights, whatever, to say I'm going to Europe, right? Nobody
Right.
does that. That the dream is the NBA. So now I understand why it took you a little bit longer to come overseas. When you look back on it, though, you had a lot of circumstances that hindered your progress.
Right.
When you look back on it, did you know anything about playing overseas, or like did anybody make you an offer while you were in the G League? And do you think, like hindsight is 2020, that you probably could have made the jump overseas earlier?
Right. So I did 2 years in the G League. My first year, I got hurt.
Yeah,
So, obviously getting hurt and then coming back the next year and playing, um, going overseas after an ACL can be kind of tough.
right,
All the practice and two a days and
right.
travel, it's way more physical. So I went back to the G League because it's a lot less on the body. You know what I'm saying? It was a
Hmm.
time for me to play basketball and also recover and get back to 100%.
Yeah.
So I needed that time in the G League also because the Raptors knew who I was and they gave me a chance to come back and play and get
Hmm.
healthy again. So that was very important for me. But
Hmm.
also at the time, Wade was over here killing. So he was over here. I was very throughout his career. I've always watched his games and been very involved with his what's going on with him. So
Hmm.
I saw that with all the talent he has, he would for whatever reason he wasn't in the NBA. So I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. So
Right.
that's another reason why I definitely opened up my brain to come over here and just give it a try.
So you come overseas, you go to Belgium. Belgium was your first stop, right?
That was my first stop.
Right away, you won the league. Were you
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, this is cake?
Well, no, because Belgium at the time, the reason why Belgium always wins is because they had a coach at the time named Dario Georgievich, or his first name's Dario, and he's tough. I mean, 2 days all day. I
Mhm.
mean, the day before the game, you're practicing 2 hours, like tape, and you're bumping with your teammates. So it wasn't cake winning that championship. And like I
Mhm.
said, they had won 12 in a row before I came. So, I mean, every team we played, it was like the Super Bowl. So,
Mhm.
I mean, every game was hard for us. So, I
Mhm.
definitely came over here and was like, listen, this is serious, especially because the Belgian team was also in Champions League. So, I got a taste of a
Right.
European competition, which
Right.
is Champions League is a pretty high level. So,
Right.
playing against, Turkish teams and German teams and France teams and getting that type of experience. So it definitely opened my eyes to the level of competition in Europe. And I'm fortunate because I went to a team at that level. You hear stories about
Mhm.
guys
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not really like that. So the Belgian league was definitely not a cakewalk for me at all.
What were your expectations when you finally decided, okay, I'm going to go overseas? What were your expectations of yourself? A lot of Americans come over and say, okay, I'm going to kill this, that, and the other, and they don't really know. What were the I'm sorry. What were the expectations that you had of yourself when you first came overseas?
My expectations I had for myself when I first came over here was definitely to just start a career for myself, in basketball. I
Mhm.
spent 2 years
Mhm.
in the G League making, Exhibit 10 money, which is after tax, not really anything really crazy.
Yeah.
And went to Belgium and, at first they have a good platform, but, not that big of a budget. So my expectation was to go and prove that I'm the caliber player that is able to, make a living playing basketball. So
Mhm.
whether that's scoring a bunch of points or guarding the best player or whatever it is, I just wanted to prove I could be a part of winning and, climb the ladder of Europe. Because, I've heard a bunch of stories of guys start low and they end up in a different situation after a couple of years. So
Right.
I wanted to prove that I can be one of those stories. And obviously, I know what I'm capable of on the basketball court. I'm a scorer. I think I'm a defender. And as I've played in Europe, I've become a better playmaker. But I had no prior knowledge of, I'm going there to get 30 or anything like that. I
Mhm.
just wanted to go and start a career for myself, so I could
Mhm.
provide for my family and also for myself. So that was my idea.
Dope. Dope.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're a scoring guard. I also see you as a scoring guard. Um, but that also comes with pressure. So what is it like for you on nights when maybe your shot is not falling? How are you able to overcome that? Because I'm sure every team that you've been on looks for you to score. And what about those nights when it's not really falling? How are you able to adjust and still be productive on the court?
It's tough, like because when your shot's not falling as a scorer, I'm a hired gun. When a team signs me, that's what my job is,
They
to be
know.
a threat
Mhm.
on the court. So if the shot's not falling, or maybe I'm at 8 points in the fourth quarter, it's like, what else am I able to do to change this game? And I hang my hat on being a very good on-ball defender. So if I know I'm not really being able to be a good scorer, and somehow we're in this game, I'm going to try to take their best scorer, their best ball handler, their best guard out of the game by pressuring the ball and making it tougher on him. And I'll exert my energy in that way. But
Mhm.
as I've gone throughout my career, I've just tried to become more consistent in my preparation and everything I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's been my main issue with, even getting to the next level of Europe. And it's just consistency. Whether, I may have 30, and then the next night I may have 15, and then I may have 20, then I may have 8, 9, and then 20, and then 7. Like, I think teams want to see me more at just 15
Mhm.
range throughout.
Right,
So,
right.
consistency and preparation, showing up to practice an hour early, getting my shots, whatever my routine is, okay, doing my stretching, and then practice, and then finishing with 50 free throws, and then going home. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to do that now, and we'll see if it, works. And, so yeah.
Okay, so you've been overseas now a couple years. You played in Turkey, you played in Italy as well, Belgium, of course, and now you're in Bosnia. How has it been for you to change not only cultures, but also basketball wise in these different countries? How long does it take you to actually feel comfortable in a different country?
First day, I'm good. Honestly, first day. I went to school. I'm from New Jersey, so, and I went to school in Mississippi. So that's also a major culture difference.
Mhm.
I spent 4 years down there, and I feel like I was able to adapt and figure out, what it is. The biggest difference out here, when you go to Italy, I didn't live in Italy. I lived in Sardinia, which is an island off of
Yeah,
Italy.
yeah.
So no one really spoke English there. So that's
Mhm.
probably the biggest, um, you know, uh, barrier that you have to get over. But very, very cool. People are nice. You try different things. I'm open minded, and
Mhm.
I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I actually really, really enjoy being in Europe. I think it's super, super cool. The different cultures and the landscape and stuff like that. So it definitely doesn't have an effect on me. I think the first day I come out somewhere, I'm good. Well, now with basketball, every coach has a different style. Every country has a different style. Italy was different than Turkey, and
Right.
Belgium was different than Bosnia with just the style of how they play and how they coach. So, you just got to adapt to your coach and try to understand what he wants out of you and what your role is, and try to just get an honest answer out of him so you
Mhm.
can try to, correlate that as best you can on the court. So, with that, I think it's just about transparency and understanding what the team wants from you and what they don't.
What country do you think both helped you get better, and what was the most difficult one to where you felt comfortable? You know what I mean? Usually it takes a little bit of a time before players get comfortable in a different country. So which one kind of pushed you up, and which one was maybe off the court a little bit difficult to assimilate into?
Well, pushing me up, I want to say this year because I really do like my coach a lot. I think he's a really good coach, Coach Sean. He's a young coach. He's only 40 years old, but he definitely believes in me a lot. He gives me a lot of opportunities in the game and a lot of slack to, kind of break off plays and show my talent, but also
Mhm.
is also teaching me, just how to be more efficient and playmaking a little bit better, making my teammates around me better, trying to limit my turnovers and stuff, just trying to help me
Evolve.
evolve and look better so I can evolve in my career as well. So, but it's early, so I can't really use this year, but I'll also say my first year in Belgium, like I said, I had a really, really good coach. And he was kind of the guy that taught me, just the little things like Spanish pick and roll and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and hedge defense and all that kind of stuff, what I should be looking at and not really holding the ball too much and getting out my hands. So stuff like that, I'll give it to those two guys. And probably my hardest situation to adapt. Honestly, I'll say last year. Not to throw any shade to the team we had last year. They were
So,
a deaf professional club. Everything was on time. Anything we needed, they took care of us. But there was definitely a disconnect between the team and the staff and what was actually wanted between the players and stuff like that. And I kind of lost my confidence in my
mhm.
game. And I started very, very good, and then kind of dwindled down towards the end of the year. So that was definitely my hardest year last year, trying to figure it out because I
How do
definitely.
you? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, I just definitely felt like I lost a little bit of confidence in my
Yeah,
game throughout that
yeah.
season. And like you said, as a scorer, that's really very important. So those are probably Belgium in here, and then Turkey last year was pretty tough.
How do you get over losing a bit of confidence? What is that that makes you kind of refocus? Is it calling back home to your family, maybe calling Wade, seeing how he's doing, how he's done it before, or one of your other friends that play overseas? How do you kind of get back into that groove?
That's a great question. Like I actually had a conversation with Dallas over the summer, and I opened up with to him about I lost some confidence, and I was going through some stuff in the game where I just didn't. A lane would be there, and I would second guess it, and it wouldn't be there. A shot
Right.
would be there, I second guess it,
Mhm.
and it's too late to shoot it. And then one thing that just helped me is he just was like, Bree, if I had the tools that you have, or if I was in your body, like I would never doubt myself. So, like you
Mhm.
said, just calling my family and just understanding that they believe in me even when I don't really, is something good to really understand. Because when you're out here in Europe playing, obviously, even when you're at a high level, it seems real cool and real good. But sometimes you can get a little lonely, can get a little homesick, and can feel like out here doing this me against the world. But it really isn't when you're able to really put it in perspective. So now I try to take that with me when I'm playing. Some games I'm like, this is my mom shooting this free throw, and
Mhm.
I know if my mom had my ability, she would never doubt that this free throw is going in. So
Mhm.
that's just kind of where I'm trying to derive my confidence from now.
You spoke earlier about consistency, and that's, I think, something that a lot of, especially young or rookies or the first couple years that players are out from America, that they struggle with because they feel like they have to do everything, and then that leads to turnovers, that leads to problems with efficiency. And of course, the higher level you go up, the more shoulders the responsibility is. If you're playing in the second, third league somewhere and you only have one other American with you or one other foreigner with you, then it's pretty much on y'all if you
Hmm.
guys win or lose in a lot of
Hmm.
cases. But
Hmm.
of course, the higher you go up, you talking EuroLeague, those guys are incredibly efficient in the minutes they're playing. They're not going to be playing 36 minutes, and they know that. So
Hmm.
they're making the most of their minutes. And if you have one of those games where you're not efficient, you won't be playing. So
Right.
I think it's great that you've identified to yourself like that's maybe something that is going to take me to that next level, and that you
Right.
have a coach that's allowing you to do that as well. What
Right.
I wanted to ask though was, how do you focus on your efficiency? Like, you can't go into the game and say, I'm not going to have a turnover, right?
Right.
And you're not
Right.
going to be looking at the stat sheet or thinking in your head, oh, I'm 4 for 8. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm 4 for 11, right?
Hmm.
I'm going to stop shooting, or you know what I mean? Like, how do you kind of think about it in that way?
Well, for me, especially in my role on this team, I can't think like that. They need me to be super aggressive. They need me to be someone
Mhm.
that the other team has to stop in order for us to be successful. So I still need to, take some risk and take some shots, maybe that when I'm at that level, I won't take. But
Mhm.
now I'm just trying to just make the right decision. Every time down, if I'm getting hedged, get it out of my hand. If I see a slower big that's hedging me, okay, I'm gonna try and beat him around the hedge and attack and create a disadvantage. So, um, just understanding the game a little bit more. And like I said, just being more confident. Like when you're kind of second guessing yourself, that's when you'll make a turnover. That's when you'll make a mistake. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everything I'm doing, I'm trying to do with intent and with unselfishness, but also with the utmost like confidence. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that also plays a fact in it. And like you said, this is my fourth year in Europe, my sixth year pro. I like to think I have some experience now. So
Right.
that also goes into just being more efficient. You know, I'm smarter. When I see a coverage, I know what to do now. And I don't panic as much when there is a hedge or I do get double teamed out the pick and roll, which happens a lot, or maybe I got an ISO and they come and double me. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
know what I should do, or even in practice, I let guys know, listen, this is what's going to happen. And when this happens, we need to do this, this, and this. So, I think that also just helps. But like you said, you can't go into the game thinking that, you know, I don't want to turn it over or this, that, and another.
Right.
Like, but obviously, you know, when I do turn it over, I try to keep track of how many I have because all right, now I have one or I have two. It's like, all right, I'm not gonna throw that pass. I'd rather just
Mm-hmm.
either shoot it or make a simple pass just to, you know, kind of limit the live ball turnovers.
This is a question that I haven't asked in a long time. When you're hooping, when you're playing, do you keep stats in your head? I did. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't going front. I did.
I definitely do. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely do. It also helps with points, not really, because on the scoreboard,
Yeah,
almost
you can see it. Yeah, yeah,
100% of the time they tell you.
yeah.
But for sure, turnovers and rebounds, I try to keep track of. Especially now, if I have like two rebounds, I'm like, all right, I got to try and finish with like 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? Just to because it helps the PIR and that makes
Yeah,
makes you
right.
look good at the end of the game. So, but I definitely don't like try and like look at it, be like, all right, I got 14 points and we're winning. Like, let me try and finish with 20. Like I don't really do points so much, but definitely rebounds, assists, stuff like that. Like I try to keep
Okay,
track of my head. Yeah.
okay. Outside of basketball, what fills your time overseas? I know I watched on your IG every day you're posting a video, you singing a different song in the car, you're picking up the young guy when they're walking around and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you're like the car in-car singer.
For sure.
Uh,
For sure.
what keeps you busy outside of basketball?
Um, honestly, I rest a lot, stay off my
Mhm,
feet, hang out in
mhm,
the crib a lot, go out to eat and stuff like that, especially in a country like Bosnia, a small city like Banja Luka is. There's not really much to do, so I just kind of chill. But this year I've been studying wealth management and finance, so that's been
mhm,
taking up a lot of my time.
mhm.
And yeah,
That's
just
good.
just trying to learn and do stuff like that. I've been pretty much doing it for about 2 months now. So
Mhm,
just, figuring out what to do with that. Just literally finished this whole booklet the other day. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I do without on my spare time. Sometimes me and my teammates will go get some dinner, hang out.
mhm,
Because a lot of the guys actually, Americans at least, their wives and stuff aren't here. So,
mhm.
if we're free or anybody's free, we'll hit the group chat like, yo, let's go get some food and then but other than that, really, really nothing. Talk a lot of smack with Wade and the rest of our friends on fantasy football. That's about it. That's really it.
Do you guys play in Laktashi or do you play in Banja Luka? Where are you guys at?
We play in Laktashi. That's where the gym is. It's about
Okay,
20,
yeah,
25 minutes away from Banja Luka without traffic.
right.
But we
And
live
you
in
live in
Banja.
Banja Luka?
Yeah, we live in Banja Luka because it's a city. So if we were living in
Right,
Laktashi, it's all farm land out there,
right.
really. But
At the end of the interview, I'm going to tell you some facts. But I'm going to say that for the very end of the interview. But
okay.
I know Laktashi. Okay,
Yeah,
so
okay.
um, who is in Europe the best trash talker you've experienced and you respect the most?
The best trash talker. Ooh, that's a good one.
Or
Um,
does anyone really talk trash these days?
I actually had one. I like a lot of guys don't really talk trash to me. Like, and if they do, I
Mhm,
don't hear 'em.
mhm.
I did play Wade last year. I gave him 28, but we'll put that to
You really
he
put
didn't. We
Wade
didn't
under the
talk. We
bus
didn't
right
talk at
there.
all during the game. No, we didn't talk at all.
Oh, but you did
Um,
say you dropped 28 on him. You okay?
before the
I'm gonna
game,
cut
before the
that.
game. The night before the game though, and they beat us. They beat us. But the night before the game, I went and picked him up. It was at our home arena. And I went and picked him up. We had dinner or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, Tyree, you're gonna get about 12. You're gonna be about three for 15." I looked at him, I was like, "Wait, I'm having 20." And then sure enough, I gave him 20. Gave him 20. But it was great. Playing Wade was great. But I'll probably say there was a funny situation that happened in Belgium when I was playing a team called Hopal Halon. His name is Eric Green.
Mhm.
And he was talking a little bit of trash to me because I wasn't making a lot of money at the time. And he was just like, I'll make what you make a year and a month. And I was just like, why didn't you guard me then? Like, guard me then. But that was probably the best trash talk
Okay.
that I
Okay.
probably experienced in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, what's when you look back to your rookie year, what's one thing that you wish you would have known before you came overseas?
Good question. Um, how long the season is. You hear that it's you're gonna get paid for 10 months, but like it's really, really, really long season.
Mhm.
So you want to actually pace yourself a little bit. Like you
Mhm.
start off super hot, and then like I said, you could dwindle at the end. You won't have any energy. So you
Mhm.
want to be like we've been saying this whole time, way more consistent with everything you're doing. Like don't
Mhm.
try to put all your eggs in the first part of the season. Try to space it out for the long haul because
Mhm.
at the end of the season, when you're in the playoffs and you got time to win a trophy or something like that, like you're gonna need a little bit. So
Mhm.
I'd say that's one thing I wish I did a little bit better.
Did your agent prepare you at all to go overseas, or did he tell you, okay, this is what to expect, or anything like that? Was he a part of that knowledge passing along?
Yeah, so John is great. I'm with John Noonan with Octagon. Me and him have a really good professional relationship. Every deal I've ever signed, he's let me know whatever questions I have. I ask him about, definitely basketball and stuff like that. But I really just ask him about how professional the club is. Is
Mhm.
this going to be a professional experience? I don't want to go to a club where you hear these
Mhm.
crazy stories and it's like guys, are living in a hole in the wall in the attic or something like that.
Mhm.
Like, so those are always my main questions. But when it comes to basketball, he
Good.
was always straightforward with me. Like even when I went to play for Belgium, he was like, "Yo, this is a tough coach, but he knows what he's doing." And when I showed up, that's what it was. And moving up to Italy is the same thing. He was like, "Listen, you're gonna be on an island, might be a little bit slower, but Italy's a great league." Um,
Mhm.
and yada yada yada. Sassari's known for this, that, and another. So when I went, it was the truth. So we have a very transparent relationship, and
Mhm.
I'm definitely very, very pleased with how all that goes.
Good. What's your practice schedule look like? Are you guys doing 2 a days? Because I know a lot of teams have switched from when I played, we were 2 a days every day, right? So especially the foreigners. How is it there? I know a lot of teams have switched up to like one block of
Yeah,
like from 11 to 2, right? Something
right,
like that, where you get everything done. How is it
right.
there?
So for preseason, it's 2 days,
Mhm.
like 2 days. You're in the gym 5, 6 hours going at it,
Mhm.
lifting, shooting, and practice. Then go home, sleep 4 hours, and come back practice.
Mhm.
But as the season started, coach, we only have maybe 13, 14 guys that can play. Really 10 that you want to really keep in rotation for the big games.
Right.
So, our team is also not that young. So,
Mhm.
tries to keep it to about an hour 30 to 2 hours at the most
Mhm.
during the season, which I think is fair. A hard, hour 30 minutes after stretching and stuff like that
Right.
is more than enough to get it done. So that's pretty much what our practice schedule is like now. After a loss like today, you're gonna watch the whole film, which is gonna take an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you're gonna have to practice 2 hours after that. So we were in the gym 4 hours today, but
Mhm.
that's normal. It's like the European way, so
Mhm.
it's normal.
How do you take European coaches? Because European coaches as a whole are much differently built than the ones in the States. I would say most American coaches are player coaches. You know, they try to, you know, get along with the players, develop like a good working relationship, and sometimes off the court as well. But European or most European coaches are straight authoritative, my way or the highway, and they have that
Yes.
backing from their GM or something like that. So they are actually able to ride you harder in some
Yeah.
instances. Um,
Yeah.
how do you adjust to different coaching styles?
It's tough. Like I said, in college I played for some really tough coaches too. So I mean, even in college, you'll experience that at a high level, Division One. I mean, coaches are screaming, yelling. If you don't do this, if you don't touch the line when
Mhm.
you're sprinting, everybody's gonna do this. Like it's so in college I experienced that. So I felt like I was prepared for it when I came
Mhm.
overseas. Um, but listen, if you do what the coach says and you go hard, I've never had an issue. Like in my career so far, knock on wood. But you show up and you do your job and you go hard and you actually give your all, the coach won't be down your back that much. So obviously he might ask a lot of you, but if that's what they pay you for, that's why you came here. You got to be ready to, take it. So for me, it doesn't affect me that much. I've
Mhm.
dealt with a screaming coach, but he wasn't screaming at me because I'm going hard, like I'm picking up the
Uh,
ball for a quarter, like what you want me to
right.
do. So in certain situations, I know it's not like that for a lot of guys, but in my
Mhm.
experience, I haven't had any issues with it.
Good. Okay, so now I only got a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna tell you my Bosnian connection. Um, what's your favorite city to play in and why?
My favorite city to play in, like that I've played in, or like
Yes.
anywhere. Like we played
And
in
you
that arena.
overseas, and you played in the arena. Yeah.
Okay, okay, it's a great question. Um, all right, I have two.
Okay.
I'll say definitely Izmir Karşıyaka is phenomenal. I mean, they got
Mhm.
great fans. The city is amazing.
Mhm.
Turkey's amazing. I can't lie. So I'll say Karşıyaka just for the environment, fans, and everything like that. And then the city's beautiful and there's a lot to do. And then I'll also say Milan and Bologna. Those two are, special
Mhm.
places. I mean, Milan's more so like a stage show, but Bologna fans are crazy and stuff like
All
that.
right.
So I'd say those two were amazing.
What is the first European or overseas food that you were like, nah, nah?
Yo, bro, they in Italy, bro. In Sardinia, they were eating horse. That's I never heard of that. Like, I was like, we're in Nuoro on some like freaking. It's a little city in Sardinia, and we're in preseason on at camp or whatever, and they bring out horse. Like it looks like a horse roasted. I'm like, yo, I'm
It
not
didn't have
eating
a
this,
head. It didn't have a head, man.
bro. Head and all, tail,
No.
like yeah, horse, bro. I'm not eating that. I'm sorry. I didn't eat it. I didn't eat it. I can't even lie to you. I'm not eating that. That was one cuisine I did not indulge in. I'm like I said, I'm open minded, but the horse, you miss me. Miss me with the horse. I'm so cool on the
You
horse.
can't eat Mr. Ed, man.
Yeah, I
You can't do
can't
that.
eat
You
this.
can't do
Hell no.
that.
You miss me with that.
Okay. And now on the flip side, what's something that when you're home in the summer, you think, damn, I wish I had that?
Yo, when I was in Belgium, there was this lady. Her name was Jacinka. I lived like right on the water in Ostende, and literally for half the year I didn't even know about it. One of my teammates was like, "Yo, you live right there." You go in there, she probably has like four tables in there, but she waits all the people that go in there, and she goes back there and cooks the food. So most times she was the only person working. Yo, the best food of all time. She used to make me this butter. She used to make me this butter chicken. It was so good. We came to an agreement. I was like, "Yo, I'll come in here. I'll give you like 180 euros a week." And like I just get two meals a day, like all I can eat, like and go in there every day, butter chicken every single. That food was amazing. That's one thing that I do miss till to this day. To this day,
Good.
that was the best food ever.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm almost done. So now I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my Bosnia connection. So my girlfriend, her father lives in Laktashi,
Okay.
and I've been to Laktashi.
Okay.
And actually, I'm coming to Laktashi to watch you play
Uh-huh.
against the Slovenian team. What team is it? Next Saturday.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Ne-
Yeah. Yeah.
Next Saturday. And I'll be at that game. I need some tickets though.
I
I'm gonna
got you.
hit
I
you up for
got you.
tickets.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
But
It's easy.
yeah, so I'm coming out there actually next week.
Okay.
And so I know Laktashi, I know Banja Luka. Now I'm gonna tell you a little bit of my history with Banja Luka. So
Okay.
30 years ago, I was playing in Austria at the time,
Okay.
and we were the first team to play in Bosnia in a European Cup game since the war, since before the
Mm.
war. And we played in Banja Luka. And that game was crazy. It was amazing. People hanging off the rafters. It was nutty. I went to Latashi and Banja Luka this past summer,
Mm-hmm.
and I hadn't been back to that gym since we played. It was bananas. We lost. And I go in the gym, and there's a guy there that played in that game.
Mm.
In that game, we played against each other in that game. He couldn't speak English, so we had my girlfriend translate and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, we realized it, and then he showed me on his phone. He had a picture from that game because
That's
that
crazy.
game meant so much to the whole country. And you can't imagine what that was like. They were like rabid for that game, right? And so that's my connection, and that's why I've been back there. And then I'm coming out there
Wow. Look at
next week
that.
just to visit.
Crazy.
So
Wow.
yeah, so that's my
Did
connection.
you
That's
get the
why I
picture
know
at
where everything is.
least?
Yeah,
Did he
oh
send?
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta
I
get that
did. Yeah,
picture.
I posted it. It's on the gram. I
Okay,
posted
okay,
it.
okay, okay,
And so then I will see you in now almost a week, a little over a
That's
week
dope. That's dope.
when
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
play
yeah.
there. And but I'll hit you up for tickets. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's
The
easy.
last thing I got for you, my guy, before I let you go is, of course, you were a recommendation from Wade. Now you have to give me a recommendation for someone. It can be, it doesn't have to be a hooper. It can be a fan. I've had players' wives, I've had GMs, coaches, everything. It has to be in the overseas world. But other than
Hmm.
that, someone you think would be a good fit for the show. Oh, and you have to help me get that person because if I write them, they'll be like, "Who the hell is this?"
Okay, okay. I want to give you somebody like Wade gave you a hooper like me. Somebody I think that is has a definite crazy story. And also is a crazy talent. I got two guys I want to say. Um,
Give me two.
okay.
I'll hit them both up.
Trayshawn Thurman is would be the first one I say.
Okay. Where's
I
he playing?
played. He's playing. I can't say the name in Turkey. Those
Okay, he's in
those.
Turkey. He's in Turkey. Okay.
But he's in first division Turkey right now.
Okay.
And so yeah, Trayshawn Thurman. He played with me in Belgium. That's how I met him. And
Okay.
super talent. He played in Lithuania for the Wolves for two
Hmm.
years, and now he's in Turkey. So his career is also climbing.
Hmm.
And I'll also say Dwayne Russell. I played with him last year. Learned a lot from him. He was my point guard. Really smart guy, family guy, really
Hmm.
good guy. And I think his personality for this show would be great. So one of those two
Okay.
guys.
Okay. So when we get off, shoot me their Instagrams and hit them up and let them know somebody's going to be hitting them up and trying to get them on the show, and it will be me. And yeah, my guy, I don't want to keep you that long, so I know you had a long day of practice. You need to probably eat and stuff like that
Yeah,
too.
I'm
So
going downstairs to get some dinner.
I appreciate you super like for coming on, man, and giving us some insights, coming on the show. Um, I will hit you up anyway after this, and then we'll talk
Yes.
about visiting out there. But I wish you all the best, man. I know your career is on the rise, and I will be there, like tooting your horn your
Thank
whole
you, man.
career, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you
So
for having
I
me, man. I had a
appreciate
good
it.
time. Thank you,
If
man.
there's anything I can do for you, man, just let me know, and then. But I'm gonna hit you up anyway. So there's something you can do for me.
Okay.
So
Oh, God, I love what you're doing too, man. It's great. This is
thank you,
dope. This is
thank you,
really dope. Really
thank
cool.
you. All right, man. So get up out of here and I'll sign out
I'm signing out, man. See you.
later. So everybody, that is it for this evening. I thought that was another dope interview. I'm finally going to get to hit up somebody for tickets. And yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him continue to climb the ladder of overseas basketball and really prosper, just like I do with all my guests. So that will be it for this edition of Let's Talk. I will be taking a 2-week break off. I'll be on vacation. One thing you have to know is when teachers get breaks, they out. So I'm not doing nothing. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks with a great guest. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, whether you're here for 1 minute or for the almost 40 minutes that we've been on. And I appreciate everybody that tunes in, pushes the subscribe button. And other than that, old head out.